And we are live. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for another Substack Live. I have with me today Jessica Smock, who's a writer and a co editor of Midstory Magazine, co founder of the Hair Stories Project, former teacher and researcher, mom of two, and she also has a doctorate in education and policy. Wow. Very impressive. Thank you so much, Jessica, for accepting my invitation and for joining me today for another episode of Natasha's Substack Live.
Thank you
And
for having me.
of course, I am so excited to talk to you about mainly to know what's your secret, Jessica. You have over 6,000 subscribers and you have that like verified tick sign on Substack, which I guess means you're a bestseller. And it means also that you have hundreds of paid subscribers. How did that happen? What is your secret?
Well, first of all, that is we have two Substacks. One, they're around the same general theme, but one is Midstory Magazine, which
Okay.
yeah, and the other is Midstack, and they're connected. But one Midstack is a directory and a community for women who are explicitly writing on Substack, and Midstory is where we tend to like not. It's not just for Substack writers. It's reading about midlife women's stories. Um,
Mm,
so my co-editor and I, Stephanie Springer, have been working together, building a writing community since 2012, maybe 2012, 2013. We
wow.
we formed the Her Stories project, and that it's a community of writing classes, writing groups. We published anthologies. Um, and we had been doing that for a long time before Substack. So we brought over our email list um, to Substack. So that certainly helped. But a lot of those people were not necessarily interested in being like, participating in Substack. Um, but yeah, we just really, we had a lot of friends and other writers in the midlife women's writing community, and we sort of reached out to them, and we published lots of essays by other midlife women. So that helped grow awareness of our community on Substack as well. So yeah, we yeah, it's not like an overnight. We hardly just like went on Substack and we're an overnight success or anything.
I see. So, in terms of your community, what do you provide to the community, and how does the community contribute? Do you pay the writers when they publish? How does this work?
We do pay writers. Right now we're in a little bit we're in a bit of a pause for submissions, but we do pay writers. We always have paid writers. We paid writers to our anthologies as well as to our Substack, and before that on our website. So we do pay. Yes. What was the rest of your question?
And what do you offer to the community,
Oh,
and what does the
what we
community offer
offer.
back? Yeah.
So again, it's a little confusing, and people ask us about this, and maybe this is kind of a branding issue in the first place. Like I said, for 12, 13 years, we've had the Her Stories project, which is like the sort of the overall umbrella. It's our company, it's our LLC. Um,
Okay.
and that through that, we offer paid workshops, we offer writing groups, writing classes, that are on another platform. They're not on Substack. We host them
Okay.
in other places. And so we've always done that. And then on Substack, um, we have this directory where midlife women can get listed in our directory of all the different publications written by midlife women. And we publish essays by other writers on Substack or not. Um, so yeah, that's about it generally. So kind of a combination of things on and off Substack.
Hmm. And how do people get involved in the community? What do they need to do to be part of your writing community?
Um, we have, we have a website that has a calendar, and we usually, we send out emails to our general email list as well as on Substack about workshops that are coming up. So we just, we let people know through that. We've in the last several months we've done a lot more of kind of 1 or 2 hour workshops where we have guest instructors. So that's another
Mm,
thing I should say. Another way that people get involved in our community is they volunteer to teach or lead a workshop. So
mm.
we have a form where you can kind of submit a proposal for that. And yeah,
And
we do
why volunteering? Why
not
not like
volunteer. We pay people. So we
okay.
we share
Okay.
not volunteering. I mean, some people are willing to volunteer, if they have a book that's coming out or they want to try out something, like
Okay.
that's fine. But no, we 99% of the time we split them. We do a split with the instructor.
Hmm. So you said you created the Hair Stories project in 2007. Is that what you
Oh no,
said?
like 2012, 2013. It's a
2012?
little um
Like a 10-year. And
yeah.
what made you do that? Like what was your career trajectory before you created the LLC? And I'm assuming that's your full time, correct? The hair project, or do you have a
I
day
do
job?
a little other things. I do some writing coaching on my own as well.
Okay.
And of course
Okay.
I have two kids who are in, elementary school, middle school, so that's
Yeah.
kind of my main job actually. um
I hear you. I have three of those.
yeah, so I mean it's kind of an interesting story. My co-editor and I, Stephanie, I live in upstate New York, she lives in Colorado. And
Okay.
we formed our partnership long before we actually met in real life. We were both parenting bloggers, mommy bloggers, like back in the day, 2010, 11, 12. And we met that way. We both wrote for outlets like Scary Mommy, places like
Mm,
that. And we kind of connected because we were both reading similar books. We were like reading a book at the same time about female friendship. And we were like, hey, why don't we get
which
other
book?
women. It was called She Matters,
Okay.
um, and it's a memoir of life and friendships. And we were both reading this book that had just come out, and we thought, oh, why don't we have women submit their stories of female friendship to us, and we'll publish them on both of our blogs. So we started to do that,
Okay.
and that became kind of popular. We were like, this is really cool. There's a lot of interest in female friendship. So we started a
Yeah.
website together,
Okay.
and that kind of took off. And then we just started because people wanted to know, like, what are the types of essays that you want to publish? Like, what makes a good essay? We started, and I have a background as a teacher, and I had taught writing in the past to high schoolers, and so we started offering classes of like what makes a good personal essay, and that it kind of took off from there. So we went from kind of a parenting blog about female friendship to over the years just kind of evolving.
Yeah. So that's yeah. And how do you monetize this community or your project?
Well, of course, I mean most of our income comes from the classes that we have, the workshops, the classes, and the
Okay.
writing groups. We do have a membership, a monthly membership. It's kind of small right now. We've had a membership off and on over the years. So we do have we have maybe about 30 members in the membership right now, but most of our income
Okay.
comes from writing groups and that are sort of like 3-week, 4-week writing groups or one-time workshops that are paid. So,
Mm.
yeah.
And and then so you have over 100 paid subscribers, right? And what do you think attracted people to your publication specifically? what made your publication stands out so that you can have all these number of subscribers? For example, not gonna make you feel sad about me. I have 3 paid subscribers. so, so what is what made why are people so attracted to what do they get out of that the paid membership?
Well, we had, kind of a clear mission at the beginning, and as I said, we had a lot of followers coming, like, people that knew of us from beforehand, and we said, "Oh,
Yeah.
we're on Substack, like, we wanna support your mission." But mostly, I think it was just we didn't really offer anything at first, and other than just having a very clear mission that people wanted to support. So we said, "We're going to be a publication for and by midlife women, and
Okay.
we're gonna publish writing by midlife women." And that's a unique enough, I think, proposition or mission statement that people just wanted to support that mission. Um,
I see.
and then along the way, we have offered, not very many, but a few different, writing challenges paid that were only for paid subscribers, um,
Yeah.
and a couple paid workshops that were only for paid subscribers. And then about a little less than a year ago, I started that second publication, which is kind of an offshoot of Midstory,
Okay.
Midstack. The second publication is Midstack, and
Oh, I see.
we have a lot of page subscribers there too, as well. And they're just sort of, again, supporting the mission of having a directory of public Substack publications, and I offer a monthly meetup for people to talk about Substack, and,
Hmm.
I offer weekly writing threads, so midlife writers can post their writing from the week in those threads and sort of share each other and comment on each other's posts.
Hmm. And where do you host your other courses? If you said you don't post them on Substack, so where would you have them?
We have for the last several years used a combination of Kajabi,
Mm.
and the Circle community platform. So kind of those two
Yeah.
places.
Huh. I'm
We
curious. Why didn't use Kajabi's community instead of
Oh,
like Circle?
do you have 3 hours for me to tell you all the reasons? Um, like, I love Kajabi so much, but their community platform has always kind of struggled, and I had high hopes for their
Yeah.
new offering, and we hosted let's see, we've had a couple classes on the new platform, and we tried to host our membership on it, and it was just Circle is
Way
exponentially
better.
better
Yeah.
than that. So
Yeah.
it's so glitchy. It has, it's just hard. Pages disappear. It's not reliable. So yeah, we love Circle for the community aspect, the community forum, and we run everything else on our business on Kajabi.
Hmm. Yeah, because I use Kajabi as well for my courses, so that was good to know that. Maybe if anyone from Kajabi can hear us, maybe they can
Oh,
give us
they've
some
heard. I
tips.
think we've been on Kajabi for so many years, and they've heard it. I think that they should have just bought Circle like in the beginning when it was.
Ah, yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway.
That's a good idea. Okay, so you mentioned anthologies,
Mhm.
and so do you actually publish them yourselves, those anthologies? Do you have like an imprint, or or do you self-publish? How do you do that?
So we've had 5 anthologies. 4 of them we've self-published, so we have our own, like, for Stories Press. And
Uh,
then
what,
1
um, so the Hair Stories Press, I sometimes get pretty technical so that people can, if they want to do this, can do this. So if you have your Hair Stories LLC, you created a publisher, like an imprint under Hair Stories project called Hair Stories Press. Uh,
yeah, that's what we called it, but it's just, for the ISBN numbers and all that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is the book or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. All right.
And then
Okay.
one of
So
oh, that was what I was just
go
gonna say.
ahead.
One of the anthologies, one of the 5, we published with a hybrid publisher. She Writes Press. So that's like a small publisher that kind of more collaborative publishing. So yeah, and that was a pretty good experience as well.
Hmm. And how did these anthologies sell?
What was that?
How did they sell? How did they sell these anthologies?
Um, a mix. It's hard to compare. I mean, they sell well initially, like especially the so we did it because it's in an anthology. Um, we sort of, we had a group marketing effort. So all of the contributors would be posting on their own blogs and all that. So, but then of course, with an anthology, you have to pay all the writers. So it's not
Mm,
exactly a profit making endeavor. You have to really, really want to do it because you're not going to make much money. Um,
mm, I see.
so yeah. But yeah, we put out a call for submissions for writers on social media and blogs, and we yeah we and all of them we got hundreds of submissions, so we had to go through and um choose the pieces.
Hmm. So, what do you have planned for the future in terms of? Do you have any anthologies planned, or you're just gonna focus on the publications for now?
um the last anthology we did was a an anthology about the pandemic, about COVID. It was called the midlife, what was now I'm blanking on the name. Um, the, the pandemic midlife crisis. And
Okay.
that was during COVID. Right now, together, we're not doing another anthology, but my co-editor is in the midst of accepting submissions on a new anthology called Unredacted, and it's women writing about their divorces.
Mm,
So
okay.
she is accepting submissions for that, and we've written about it on our Substack as well.
Hmm. And how has been your experience on Substack so far since you moved, since you had that community since like for almost for more than 10 years now, right?
Yep.
And how the experience now that you shifted to Substack or like an additional like platform for you, or you shifted your newsletter, how has that been different than in the past?
Oh, it's been really wonderful. I think it helps us find our people so much better. In the past, we mainly relied on, I guess, mainly Facebook for finding new people. Or if we again, if we posted calls for submissions, we'd get a lot of people interested in our, not just the actual anthology, but interested in us more generally. And then it helps us, like, Substack is really good for, like, niches. Like, we have a very we have a very small niche, and, like, it's a so much more of a direct way to find a readership and people to come to our workshops and classes.
Mm. Would you ever open it to men or non-binary, or are you
Oh,
focused
not
on?
non bi anyone, female identifying, yes. That's we
Okay,
recently we recently had a man in one of our workshops, but this is the first time this has ever happened in whatever 12 years.
okay.
And it was fine, but it was kind of like, oh, okay.
And yeah, so what would you do, like, if a man says, because you're very, specific towards women, and if someone like, well, I wanna write about my midlife crisis, what would you do?
Well, we probably would not publish a piece from a man. It's just, I mean, we're but again, this has never happened, so it's not. I'm pretty safe to say it probably won't happen unless it's just someone being a troll. Um, we've had a
Okay.
we've had a couple non-binary people over the years, but
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious. I think maybe because women tend to self-reflect a lot, I guess, and the female experience probably more complex with, the childbearing and then the menopause and whatever. So I think there's a lot more to write about besides a male midlife journey, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
So
we're really
yeah,
like we're good. I'm always putting out surveys and talking to our audience and trying to get people to reflect on what it is, what their problems are, what their challenges are in their lives so that we can reflect that in our marketing. So, like, if I'm doing my job right, men will be interested in what we're offering because it's not relevant because I'm listening to
yeah,
women's. So,
yeah, yeah. Huh. Okay. So you send a call for submissions and people submit stuff. On what basis do you accept and reject? What would be like a big no-no for you? Like you see it, okay, this is not for us.
um, I would say the most often it's pieces that are just way too long and are just
Mm,
not meant like they would be great as a published piece in a book or something like that, but they're just not they're not short enough and they're not tight enough to be published online. We're not the New Yorker. We're not going to publish like a 6,000 word piece on whatever. I'd say that's the main reason. Also, just universal, the universalness of the experience, whether it's relating to topics can that more people can relate to. So if it's like a really, really individualized, specific experience with lots of specific details, that you just get lost in the nuances of
mm,
it. Um, and we
mm.
do tend to we do mostly publish personal essays. So sometimes people will submit things that are more like how-to articles or like a reported piece on a topic, and we really want more of the memoirish personal essay types of writing.
Mm. And um, so that was for the people who wanna submit to be writers. What about the people who wanna submit to be instructors, like workshop instructors? What are you looking for? I mean, in case anyone is listening and they wanna apply, what are you looking for?
Um, a variety of topics. I mean, the things that I've done, we've only been doing this and a lot for the last several months. So this is kind of a new thing for us. Um, the things that have worked well are craft-based essays, craft-based workshops that are about personal essay and memoir and
Okay.
genre. So those are the types of things that do well. Um, and like how to things that are just like where you can learn something and there's a real takeaway to it. Like one of the most popular ones we've done is like how to publish a personal essay, which was great.
Okay.
There's like
Okay.
clear takeaways. Um, we just had one on Friday that was about how to write about mental illness as either a family member or yourself. And they're like, it was very practical strategies for doing that. Um,
Okay.
so
Sorry. Mhm. What about like more skill-based ones, like not genre-based, but like, for example, how to finish a book in 30 days or stuff like that, or that just not something you do?
No, definitely we do that. So we've had one of our most successful workshops, or what? Well, I don't know about successful, but our favorite workshops is like how to plan a nonfiction book. So we've
That's a
run
good
that
one.
maybe
Yeah.
2 or 3 times, I think, and
Mm,
that's just so fun. Um, and we called it an incubator, but we had it in January, where we had maybe I guess about 10 different instructors, 10 different speakers and it was all around the topic of how to start a new writing project in the new year. So it was sort of like you have a January resolution to start a writing project. Like here's how to get started, and here are some really concrete project management strategies. Here's how like it. So we ran that in January. So yeah, that
Mm.
those types of things too, like um, how to get organized to write a book or something like that. That's yeah, those do well.
What do you think aspiring authors or writers struggle with mostly? What are their pain points?
Well, I can only speak to our community's pain points, which are, women between the ages, I would say usually like 40 to 60 or 70. And I've just sent out a couple surveys like in the last month, and overwhelmingly, the number one pain point is not finding time. So they express that they just simply do not have enough time in their day or organization to write. So, like, it's kind of that consistency, I think, is the biggest struggle that women
Mm,
have in our community. So
okay.
that's kind of why we offer, like, in our membership, we offer co-writing, co-working sessions. So it's like some level of accountability, like on Wednesdays at noon, you can write together and then for an hour, and then at the end you'll say what did you accomplish. So that
Hmm.
really is the most those are that like that that's the biggest challenge, I would say. And it's not necessarily like skill based or anything like that. It's really just like how to stay motivated and how to be
Mm.
consistent.
And your circle community, is it open for everyone or do you have to pay for it?
It's paid. The membership is $39 a month. Yeah.
And what do they get out of it when they join your circle group?
So you get to attend all the other paid workshops during the month for free. So we might have 4 different paid workshops during the month that we sell individually, and you can go to all those for free.
Mm-mm.
And then we have all those co-working times, spaced throughout the month. Um, we also have critique sessions where people can post their writing and get it critiqued. We have, you know, just a forum where people can interact and like share resources and that. It's a little bit I'm hesitant to be like it's not on pause, but we're getting into our summer schedules and my co-editor is traveling right now. So it's like it's still active, but it's not as active as it was in the spring. If you see what I mean, we're kind of like we're still having co-writing, we're still having workshops, but it's not as active as it was. We also have writing prompts in there as well. And you get the full library of our past workshops.
Hmm. And do you think that's what takes the most time of you from your like, is it you working on the community or what is the most think time consuming project you're working on?
Um, it depends. I mean, that's the great thing about this is like I can work on like when I mentioned that incubator, which is for the month of January. Um, I worked on that very intensively for a couple months, like getting all the speakers, making all the sales page, all of that stuff. And then I could get to step back and like I I r- I got a whole bunch of speakers and instructors early on in the beginning of spring, and now I can kind of step back and just like and they just happen. So it really
Yeah.
depends. It depends on what we have going on. We're thinking about having another workshop this summer, and so the ways things work in our partnership with my co-editor is I'm sort of more the I don't know the executive editor. Maybe I do like all the tech stuff, the nuts and bolts behind the scenes, making sure like I do like the marketing, the sales pages, all that stuff, and she tends to like more often is the one who leads the co-writing sessions and kind of the group
Oh,
coaching and that sort of stuff. So we have a very nice like balance in our
wow.
partnership.
Huh, I like that. I mean, the idea of partnering with another person to create a community, I think it makes it less daunting on you and make it even better experience for the people who join. So how, like, in terms of marketing, and I feel many authors and writers, and like, I guess you're more of a authorpreneurs or a solopreneur, if
Mhm.
how are you marketing your work in order to get new members to your community? What do you think has been like the highest ROI in terms of your effort or the money that you put in order to get more members to the community?
Well, long term, since the beginning, probably the greatest number of people found us through our calls for submissions for our anthologies.
Okay.
Um, and through when we marketed, like using the power of other people to market, like when they would publish a piece in our on
Okay.
our website, they would sort of like the contributor would, talk about it on Facebook, and so people would find out about us. Um,
Okay.
so I think long term that, but right now most of people find us through Substack actually.
Oh, so is that where you're putting most of your efforts?
Um, a lot of it. I have grand plans for Midstack. I really want to make the directory a lot more useful than it is, and to make it a much more like
Okay.
robust community experience inside of it, other than just like posting your writing and that sort of thing. Um, but I would say in terms of time, I spend most of the time with like planning and running the workshops, and that's outside of Substack right now.
Have you done previous Substack lives besides this one?
Um, I've done interviews on Substack, but I don't think they were lives. Like,
Okay. Okay. Because, like, I keep telling everyone, like, Substack Live, because I've been doing this, I mean, maybe the past month, and honestly, it's probably one of the most rewarding Substacks
yeah,
experiences for me. Not only people discover you, but you build this kind of relationship with other people from Substack, and it was kind of an outcome that I did not expect. That, like, even after every Substack live, I get 5, 6 subscribers. Just
that's
so,
great.
like now I have a tip for people to grow your Substack. Go live twice a day. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna turn this into a note now. I'm not
Well,
posting,
it's so funny you're
but
saying
yeah.
that because I was just talking to my co-editor this morning. We're gonna run, um, and I was just saying to her, we should try new marketing strategies for
Mm,
promoting this workshop. And I said, "What about doing a Substack live?" And we were both like, "Oh, maybe we'll do it this time." Um,
yeah. I mean, like this, for example. I mean, it doesn't have to be you on her, but like make it in a conversation so it
yeah,
becomes more kind of organic promotion rather than like we are giving a workshop. I think that probably
right.
resonates better with
No,
others,
no,
but
just us
just
talking. Yeah, yeah.
Ju
No, it wouldn't
yeah,
be like a
yeah.
hard sell. Like that would be
Yeah, like an
boring.
info commercial,
Yeah. That-
at midnight.
yeah.
But yeah, well, so how can people reach you if they wanna join your community? Mid-journey women who want to submit, uh, potential authors or instructors who want to reach out. How can they reach out to you?
Well, our general website is theherstoriesproject.com. And then on Substack, we are at Midstack and at Midstory. So those three places.
Oh, this is great. Well, it was been wonderful talking to you, Jessica. I learned a lot about what you guys are doing and communities, and you gave me lots of ideas to think about as well for my own business. And I'm sure anyone who's been listening, I'm sure you inspired them, and hopefully you inspired other women authors to submit to your publication. And thank you for everyone who joined us today. The recording will be up soon for those who missed it. And thank you again, Jessica, for accepting my invitation. And we'll
Oh, thank you for
definitely
inviting me.
stay
This
in
was
touch.
great.
And I wish you the best of luck. And I will see you on Substack.
All right. See you on Substack. Bye.
Take care. See you. Bye bye. Bye bye.